Oh, and he wants me to talk to him about it.
Oh,
Okay.
we are
5:30 on
straight
the
up.
dot. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call to order our Human Relations Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 14th. It is 5:30. So let's see. I need two requests. Did staff confirmation that Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice had been properly provided?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Then we'll do roll call.
Chair Kuchel,
Here.
Vice Chair Mai,
Here.
Commissioner Kressler, Commissioner Newell,
Here.
Commissioner Rodriguez Ortiz,
Here.
Commissioner Zaveski,
Here.
Commissioner Modro,
Here.
Commissioner Tague Hurd,
Here.
Commissioner Gary.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we need to approve our minutes from our last meeting, which was April 9th, 2024. You should have that in your packet, so you need a minute or two to look that over or a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
And I second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please just raise your hand. Thank you.
For the record, that was unanimous.
Yes. Okay, new business, public hearing items.
There are none scheduled.
Great, okay, and then we'll move on to administrative items, our docket review.
Yes. Well, thank you. You should have your packets in front of you, and I'll go through it a little bit quicker because I think we don't have any new people and we don't have anyone online, so I'll go through it a little faster. But the blue is employment, stands for employment. Marissa's pulling it up too for the record. We don't have any new cases on that. There's been nothing in quite some time, so even coming in, so nothing changed on that one. Where our most activity is, as always, is the housing. And we've had a lot of activity lately. We still have the one case in front of HUD. I might add that HUD was just here a week ago, Marissa. I think it was a week ago, right about a week ago, very close. Sometime last week, our HUD rep was here and did our audit on site. Like they send out an audit, and this is the first time they've done one in person since 2020. They usually just have done them. We send it. They send a request for information. It's called a PAR. I don't know what it stands for, but it's the annual review. And we send them all this information, and then they used to always come in person, and since 2020 they hadn't. So they did our first on-site audit, and we didn't have any issues. So we asked again about our case that we waived to them on 2/8/24. No. That has to be wrong. 2/8/24. It was before that, Marissa, didn't we? And the old one that we waived back to them, or is that a different one?
That is a different one.
Okay, we have one that's over that we waived to them 2 years now. I think it's been going that we still have to waive to the DOJ, and we haven't heard anything. I discussed that during our audit with them. They don't have any control over it. So
Michelle,
where's it at?
it's the H4/22/23. It was filed 10/3/2022.
So almost, it's coming up a year and a half. Anyway, much outside that 100-day window they give us.
Right.
But anyway, so we haven't heard anything more on that case. That's still pending in front of the Department of Justice. I see it now. Then we have the one case that we've sent to the 3 commissioners. You know who you are if you've received it. We're waiting for the final on that one, that's H9/23/24. And we have 2 more, the investigation and process ones, the H11/23/24 and H6/23/24. Both of those we probably will get to you in first before the next meeting, which means, generally speaking, most of you will probably get it. We try not to have 2 people with, like, even though we'll randomly draw from one group, and then we won't use those 3 because it's really hard to have 2 right in a row. So most likely before the next meeting, our hope is to have those 2 to you. And then we just filed another new case that is pending, and I think this might be a good time to remind everyone, if anyone comes to you and wants to discuss, I think we sent a little script. You know, it's not that we're trying to be mean or anything of that nature, but we're trying to keep you neutral as neutral parties and not end up with a conflict and having all of you conflicted out. And, you know, we can't have you discussing the cases, anyone, and we can't have you having a meeting outside about something that's pending before you. So we'll just remind you, you know, if someone starts talking to you, you know, kind of first question should be, is this about something pending? And if so, you kind of have to guide them away from that. And do give us a heads up if you would, just so we kind of know. We have a person that, of course, isn't real happy that we filed something, and so they are coming to us, and we got an indication that they wanted to know who was on the commission, which is public record. We did not share your phone number or your contact information, but, you know, nowadays with the internet, it is easier than we want to be able to find us. So just be aware for anyone, you know, regardless of who it is, that we ask that you let us know and just try and cut that off, because you really, it'll conflict you out of it, and I really don't want all of you to be conflicted. We've never had that happen before, and I don't want to have to deal with what we do if we all have a conflict. So we're trying to keep everyone as a neutral party in those cases, and not violate CORA or COMA or any of those acts either. So we ask that you not discuss it. So hopefully, if anyone has any questions with that, we have one new filing since last time, and we anticipate before the next meeting that we'll have 2 more done. I don't know if there are any other questions. If not, I'll move off the housing. That's all our update on housing. We passed, had no issues at this time. So the next thing that I would move to are the public accommodations, and I think there have been 2 more actually come in through the city's online system. With the new system, it's been real easy for people to just file comments. They don't always say it's a public accommodation or it's an ADA grievance, but based on the city's just online website, they get funneled that way. We try and funnel them to the appropriate channels, and we've had 2 more issues come up. We're working, they're in progress. I'm working with the building officials to try and work with those landlords or those property owners. They are all in the same vein of accessibility to facilities. Parking and accessibility, getting into the facility. So we're working through those. So I think there are actually 3 that are in progress right now. But I don't anticipate they will be filed as actual complaints. I feel like generally we've been able to work with those landowners once I get with the building officials and get an official. Most of the time a phone call has done it, but one is going to require an actual official letter. We'll see if it comes before. That would be the one so far that has indications it could maybe have to go further, but hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get that resolved, and by the time we meet next time, hopefully I can report it's resolved. But
Okay.
well, either it will or it won't, right? We might have our first actual one that goes forward.
Okay.
So that is my case review, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Do you want to give us a review of the Fair Housing Seminar?
Sure, I'll start and then I'll open it up to anyone that was there, see what input. Lily has been gathering the information to compile a report that we can put out for the surveys. We try and get those surveys analyzed. I know she's working on compiling that. We didn't have it in time to get in the packets this time, but she's working to compile a summary of those surveys. So far, we haven't really had anything too distracting. I think food was a little bit of one. The elevators going out this time just before was one of those. Like last year was the toilets, this year's the elevators. You know, it's always something. But I think we were able to accommodate the individuals that needed it. Fortunately, both of those individuals that couldn't do the stairs, they wanted the session we held downstairs. Our plan was if we couldn't accommodate them in the afternoon, we would refund half their tuition or That was going to be our plan because there was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
We found out the day before the elevators had gone out, and you cannot get them repaired that quickly. I don't know about cities, but in Salina, you can't get them repaired within a day or two. It takes some time to get them scheduled. So anyway, that was how we dealt with it. Other than that, I thought it went pretty smoothly. We were excited to have some of our speakers there. They were from, the two of them from out of town are very well regarded in the industry and pretty knowledgeable. Anyway, so I thought it went well. I thought it went well to have the breakout sessions other than the whole elevator thing. I think from the feedback, people enjoyed being able to divide up more landlord geared and more tenant based. I thought that went well this year. The food was probably one thing we got some more comments about this year.
Okay.
But, it's a mass feeding. It's not.
Right.
It's not a gourmet meal. And what do you expect for the price? But I think I don't know if Marissa has anything else to add on the feedback. I don't know. I don't know if you all had I of course had my favorite speaker. I don't want to say out loud but I thought they all presented something different and offered a good perspective. We'll see. I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts. Oh, the other feedback that we got from the other board, the Accessibility Advisory Board met before you, and they said they would like to know the times of when people are on breaks. They didn't think it was, it would be nice to have a schedule for the board so that you're not there necessarily all day or do that, because really when those to be manned at the booths is when the breaks are. So maybe that was a suggestion I thought was very helpful that we'll try and implement next year. You're always welcome to stay all day as a board member, but I know not everyone has all day. So we'll see about that. I don't know if anyone else, we're always looking for suggestions and ideas on speakers for next year.
Okay.
We're starting that list. And there was a suggestion on maybe looking at some other facilities again, I think with something a little more accessible. And so we do have an appointment to look at another facility here coming up. We'll see how that goes.
I do have a
TPAC is
suggestion.
good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I know the $30 that it costs, could we look at that as I kind of see that as a potential barrier for certain tenants who couldn't afford to come. It was some great information. I think a lot of them could have really used that information. It was very valuable. So maybe in the future, I don't know how that would work.
Well, here's the one thing that I have to balance it with, because HUD requires me not to make money on it, but I can't have food. So if we did it, I would not be able to have food. And I would probably be able to do that. We've talked about even subsidizing that, or like having a scholarship for tenants, or having something applied for that. That is a good idea. Maybe we can revisit that. My hardest thing is I have to make sure that food is not covered. So that allows us to have the food that we have provided and make sure I can say HUD's money is not covering it. The entrance fees cover food. Okay. So that's a little bit tricky if we're going to do that, because that's one of their rules from the federal rules and compliance.
Yeah.
That's why. And $30 is what they've been charging. We have not changed it at all since I've been here. We went back and looked, and it's been historically that. So, but as far as I'm going, I've looked at ideas. We tried to get sponsors, like if someone would sponsor people and say, would you as a sponsor say, so we have a pool for anyone that wanted to, and trying to advertise that. I haven't had any sponsors willing to do that yet, but we could even look at maybe just subsidizing it somehow, or waiving it, or doing something, because I agree for some of the people that would be a difficult.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Michelle, what about getting some sponsors for the luncheon?
And then you didn't have to do that.
And then if you would cut your cost that way, then maybe you could allow.
And that's another idea too. It always is hard because you don't know how many people.
Right.
So then you don't know exactly how many sponsors you need. And I have to be exact. The nice idea with tying it to that, then I know exactly their food was covered by their entrance fees. I can easily prove that.
Yeah.
So it is something to think about, and I do think it's a valid point. So there's more than one way, but that's something we can know. My other thing that I've always thought about, which is difficult balancing everyone's needs, is timing. If we could do it in the evening, we might get more tenants. You know, it's a balancing of getting the speakers here and getting them and doing all that. It is something I've thought about. If we had it at a different time, would we get more tenants? I think then you lose some of your professionals. Don't want to do evenings, especially your social workers. And we reach the tenants through the social workers and providers right now by the people they work with, who are our best referrals for cases. To be honest, most of our cases, or a lot of our cases, are because of our relationships with agencies like DVAC and so forth that make referrals and help individuals get here. I don't know. It is something to explore. We keep trying to look at it, but I would like more tenants to get the message directly. I think it would be helpful. You know, we talked about, it didn't quite work that way. We talked about having like mornings for tenants and after, you know, dividing it up day wise. That we started with we've always just done one, or since I've been around, done one straight through for everyone. This is our first time dividing pros and cons to managing that. I would like us, you know, I like the idea of options for some of the conferences I go to, but then I also feel bad because I can't go to all of the sessions, and so then I get torn. So, you know, fewer choices may be better than more sometimes. I don't know. But I also think for us to do a lot of those sessions and have that capacity in the rooms and all of that to do it, I would want bigger attendance too, to justify having, because you don't want to go to a session of one person or two people in there when you have too many, and I don't know. So
having all those people come in.
Yeah.
So I felt like, I do think our speakers, even the ones coming from out of town, felt that it was a nice size crowd. It wasn't too big, not too, like they thought the size was appropriate. We didn't quite have 60 attendees. Do you remember what the number was? I think
we ended with 55.
So right about, which was a nice number from what the feedback we got from them was. That was a good crowd. They didn't feel like it was not worth flying all the way here, and anyway.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then our next administrative item is the need to cancel our regular meeting for June.
Yes, I will be at a seminar for the ADA, National ADA Conference during the next meeting. And then there were some other things going on with staff, so we just wanted to let everyone know, which is one reason we did have a little bit of a light agenda this time, but since we knew we needed to cancel June's meeting and make it public record that we're canceling it now, we'll repost that, but we wanted to let everyone know and go ahead and have tonight's meeting because we won't have June.
Okay, thanks. All right, preliminary discussion items, there's none listed there. And under our unfinished or other business, none. And public forum, we don't have, do we have somebody?
We do. It appears we have someone
okay.
joining us online. I don't know if there's any comment. I see a Miss Meyer online now. I don't know if she has anything she wants to say. We'll give her just a
No,
sec.
I have nothing to say. I'm just learning.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I guess adjournment?
Yes, and I'll just remind everyone the next meeting is July 9th.
July 9th, okay. All right, I'll need a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. A second? Second. All right, and then do we need to put on the record that she
Yeah,
came
it might be
in?
good to put that on the, I like to make a record. So yes, we had Commissioner Kressler join us, can be added to the agenda.
Okay. All those in favor of adjournment? Raise your hand. Yes, aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Yay.
Thank you.
You.